On this all-new episode of Nightlife, we hit the streets of Chicago with Dave and Shane for some hard-hitting questions.
Italian beef, Chicago dog, or deep dish?
Ooh, I'm a pizza guy. I gotta say deep dish.
Yeah, deep dish. When you're in Chicago.
I could do all three though. That would be like the trifecta.
Are all the questions going to be this silly?
And we take a look back at the matchup with the Blackhawks.
Smith has Olofsson coming. Olofsson in, and he scores! What a shot by Victor Olofsson!
Plus, it's time to spin the roulette wheel one final time in the regular season.
There we go.
But he's muted.
And he's trying to talk. This is great. Yeah. Is he on the moon?
He's muted.
Can you hear me now? Good.
All of that and more this week on Nightlife.
Welcome into an all-new episode of Nightlife where the playoff push is on. And last week, the Golden Knights hit the road for a 3-game trip, and Dave, Shane, and I got to have a little fun before the puck dropped in Chicago. Well, hello from Chicago, everyone. We're going to hit the streets of the Windy City with Shane and Dave. What could possibly go wrong? In fact, we have some questions for you guys.
Must be a slow day when you got us.
Probably a lot could go wrong.
What's the question?
Italian beef, Chicago dog, or deep dish?
Ooh, I'm a pizza guy. I gotta say deep dish.
Yeah, deep dish. When you're in Chicago.
I could do all three though. That would be like the trifecta.
Are all the questions going to be this silly?
I'm 3 for 3,
Okay.
I guess, because deep dish definitely. But you like deep dish? Because some people say it's not pizza.
No, I like it. It's like, but I'm a lasagna fan, and it's like pizza lasagna.
I wish they could get to it quicker. Like you gotta bring your patience.
It's like
It takes a long
45
time
to 60 minutes.
to make it. Yeah, you gotta clear your schedule
Only
for the deep
child,
dish.
not
Only
me.
child.
Yeah.
Quick, I need it quick here. Thank you.
But what is the most significant banner hanging in the United Center?
Ooh.
Most significant.
Well, I would go.
I'll go Jordan.
Yeah, I was just gonna say from
You
a
would.
hockey standpoint.
Oh, we're going hockey?
I didn't think about that. You got the Michael Jordan
No, I was
statue
going to
there,
say
too?
like
Either the first championship that the Bulls won with Jordan, or the cup the Chicago won in 2010 with that last era of the Hawks teams that were great. No disrespect to Bobby Hull, Stan Mikita, and all those great guys, but like if we're bringing it to modern times,
Yeah.
you break through and win the first one, right? So the first one with Jordan and the first one with Kane, Taves, Keith, and Seabrook to me.
That was a simple question. I gave a one-word answer, and you got like a whole speech.
Well, no, you need a little more detail. That's
Seriously.
what I do here. I
Simple.
provide the, well, you do the color, but I provide the facts.
That's why my hearing's getting going.
Dave, where are we going?
I don't
where we're
know.
going.
I'm not sure.
We are
We're
going
headed
to
to Michigan Avenue.
So there's two places. Like Gibson's is famous, Gibson Bar here. I don't know if anybody. There used to be a show. I can't remember. It was about a fantasy football, a comedy, and they always went to Gibson's. It was called something else in the show. But anyways, that and Tavern on Rush. Back in my day when I played, were two of the popular kind of restaurant places, or a place to stop by for an afternoon soda.
Ice water.
Ice
They have
water.
great ice water at Tavern
I
on
like
Rush.
soda water.
This sounds like a good opportunity to talk about your favorite road bar that you go to. Not necessarily Chicago, but we're talking about the places you used to go.
Well, we're gonna probably go Nashville, right? Because you got the live music and then
Somewhere.
Tootsie.
Tootsie's
Although we
legend.
did a trip here, and this was a question that I was going to ask you off air, but since we're on, remember we went and there was that country music. We went with the Inner Circle,
Yes.
and it was a really good spot.
Country music bar in
Yes.
Chicago.
Yes.
I didn't bring
Might
my
have to
boots.
find it.
We have to find it.
You're gonna have to dig on the.
But
get
yeah,
on the
we
Googles.
love country. Anything that has live music, I love. And then we should mention the one, it's kind of sad. It closed down the Char Bar in Columbus.
Columbus. That was
The biggest
one of
dive
our
bar
favorites
ever.
because
R.I.P.
you could walk.
But somebody drove a vehicle through the window and it shut down.
Yeah, you could walk 50 feet from the door of our hotel to the Char Bar, and it was divey. It had a jukebox. And what else do you need?
We're
Dave
not-
with the jukebox, look out.
We're
No,
pretty
very
simple.
simple.
We're very
If you
simple.
couldn't guess, we're pretty simple.
What do you do with 2 off days in Chicago?
Church.
On Wednesday, I
The
guess
pillars
you could,
would
yeah.
crack if I wanted to.
No, it's a good city for me. I do a lot of work. No, the gym. I like the gym here at the
Vigorous
hotel.
workout.
There's a sauna. Get some work done. Make some phone calls. Talk to some people I haven't talked to.
Yep.
That's
Sleep.
about it.
Workout, sleep,
Deep dish.
deep
raw.
dish, and a nice walk.
Yeah, I picked the wrong time to go on a health kick.
Yeah. You're setting yourself up for failure. How's it going so far, Pete? Okay, great.
Ashley, you're awesome.
Ashley, you're doing nice work so far, I guess.
Tavern on Rush. There it is.
Yeah. A couple of new places.
Used to stay at that Sutton place over here.
Yeah. This is.
But why I like Tavern on Rush is where I did. We did the only trip in my playing time that we did a dad's trip. So my dad, we took all our mentors or whatever fathers to the Tavern on Rush. Let's just say that they had a good time.
Better time than you, I'm sure.
We had to play the next day.
I remember going in the Tavern on Rush one time. You know how you'd walk in and they had that like velvet rope area for the important people? So certainly I would
You're
not be allowed in there.
obviously.
I'd try to sneak in. And I couldn't sneak in this one time because Vince Vaughn was there.
Whoa.
And he was hanging out with all the important people.
Yeah, you wouldn't be allowed
And,
there.
and they had no
Vince
desire to
Vaughn,
have me
Dave
join the crew.
Locher.
Yeah,
Right
hit the
on
bricks,
mine.
Dave.
I'm a big
See you
Vince
later.
Vaughn fan.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Time for our first break here on Nightlife. Coming up next, Dave attempts to use AI to win trivia.
So no, we don't have a correct answer. Like there isn't
Want me
a
to
correct
Google it?
answer.
I can Google it.
Do you know how to spell that?
Do we need a magnif?
Use auto.
Don't touch that remote. Nightlife on Scripps Sports. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Nightlife. Let's head back out to the streets of Chicago, where Dave and Shane answer some questions about one of their favorite topics, fashion.
Shane is a fashionista, so we'll start with you. Why do they call it the Magnificent Mile?
It's all the shops. That's what I think.
The
I don't
shops
know.
are magnificent.
I have to see when
A
you now you- when you're
magnificent
getting
mile
when,
of shopping.
when you get to trivia in the U.S., I'm done. And
I think
Dave apparently studied American history.
Oh, I did, evidently. I think it's just a magnificent mile of shopping. Like you could just burn.
Is that what it
money.
is? Oh, I was
think
right.
so.
I'm
Is that
right.
accurate?
So no, we don't have a correct answer. Like there isn't
Want me
a
to
correct
Google
answer.
it? I can Google it. You
Yeah.
need to.
Do you know how to spell that?
Do we need a magnif?
Use auto.
Magnif.
Oh my God, we're gonna be here all day.
I clear the rest of the day here. Lux Fashion Outlets and a bunch of other stuff. Doesn't really say why. It just says it's really
Did you
luxurious.
ask?
I'm on the Wikipedias and a lot of other hocus pocus. That's it. That's all I got.
It's a nickname for a 13-block stretch of northern Michigan Avenue.
Right.
It was coined by real estate developer Arthur Rubloff in the 1940s after he revitalized the area with new developments and renovations.
That didn't come up on my
Right.
device.
Ask Shane Knighty,
Oh,
ladies and
God.
gentlemen.
It says it right
is
here.
the Chicago bean actually cool?
I didn't know about it until today, so
This is mind-blowing.
Yeah, this is a new
Tavis and
development.
You don't
Susan
know
were
what the
walking.
bean is.
No,
Tavis and
no.
Susan said they're going to the
big
bean.
silver-
Somebody showed me a picture of it and it looked very strange. Looked like is it a piece of architecture?
So what's
Yes.
its relevance here?
It's a large
Do we have
piece
to
of
look that up
architecture,
now?
and you could almost, it's kind of, it has like, it's reflective, so you can take a selfie in it. I know
Oh,
you love your
I'm
selfies.
educating
Great.
myself today. I want to know what it means.
Okay, now
what's
this
the
would be great.
significance?
This will take another half hour or so. The bean. Where is the bean? Is it within walking distance of here? Not that I want to go there.
It's gotta be.
It's a sculpture.
Okay, thank you.
It's somewhere in downtown Chicago, so it depends
It's a
on
big city.
how far walking distance is to you.
Yeah, I'd probably get.
The bean in Chicago is a popular nickname for the Cloud Gate, massive reflective bean-shaped sculpture by Anish Kapoor.
This is going to be a Dave question.
Okay.
This is not sarcastic. I just think that you were
Okay.
the most likely to be able to name these things out of the three of us.
I would.
Oh, good. You're
I'd-
saying
I'd
Shane's
lower the
not
bar of
smart enough?
expectation on that, but that's fine.
Lake Michigan
Yes.
named 4 other Great Lakes.
Oh, I could do this.
4 other Great Lakes. I would say Lake Ontario,
Superior.
Lake Superior,
Erie.
Lake Erie. Yeah.
One more.
Lake Mead.
It's great if you live in Las Vegas in the summer.
That's kind of where I was going.
What's the other one? Come on now.
What's the other Great Lake? Lake Ontario.
Pause.
No? Is that not right? What did you say? We said Lake Ontario, Lake Superior,
Yeah,
Lake
Lake Erie.
Michigan, Lake Erie. Am I adding in Lake Ontario by default?
Huron.
Lake Huron. You looked at the Googles.
You looked at my
Yes.
Googles.
You looked at Ashley's Google.
No, I did that myself.
Notice the Skechers, Pete. It's a sponsored item. Thank you.
What a tune. So there's Tavern on Rush and there's Gibson's.
There they are.
Didn't Tavern on Rush used to be on the other side?
I don't think so, Shane. I think it's always been on this corner. Maybe they picked it up and moved it, but I think it's been there.
Well, it closed.
But I think it's been there for
Oh,
a
no,
long,
this is
long
it.
time.
We only have one thing left.
Oh, thank heavens. Okay.
Oh yeah, Tavern on Rush.
Here we
That's
go.
where I'm going.
Over there, table for 4.
Ashley's gonna buy.
Ashley, it'd be nice of you to buy us lunch after this.
See,
We're walking around the entire
Lucky
city
I have
here.
my wallet.
Okay, that's rare. Okay.
Please share a story from Chicago.
Well, did you already get the one I told you about my dad's
Yes,
trip?
that was a good one. That was a good one.
That's probably.
Dave, your turn.
My memories of Chicago would be in my old job. Chicago Blackhawks beat the Bruins in the Stanley Cup Final in 2013. And that was not a real happy memory. Not a real happy memory at all.
I remember I was retired, but my good friend Sean Thornton, buddies and I, we had a party at my house in Winnipeg, and we decided we should go to was it game 5 here?
Yeah.
And my one buddy is a pilot. The next day we decided we'd fly here, 5 of us, and we flew down and went to that game that night.
Wow.
It was a pretty good little impromptu guys trip.
My other, I guess I shouldn't, I love Chicago. My other great memory would be I got a chance to go to a game at Wrigley Field, which was awesome, a baseball game in the offseason. But hockey-wise, it would be Bruins lost to the Hawks in the final in 2013.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fun. Thanks for having us on the show. Yeah, okay, goodbye. See you next time on Nightlife. Bye-bye.
Time for a short break here on Nightlife. Coming up next, enough silly questions. It's time for Puck Drop against the Blackhawks. Don't fret, VGK fans. Nightlife on Strip Sports. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Nightlife. With the playoffs inching closer and every point becoming critical, 2 were on the line when the Golden Knights faced off with the Chicago Blackhawks.
Golden Knights and the Hawks here in Chicago tonight as they wrap up the season series.
The Golden Knights, a huge 2 points here for them to grab. A little more separation in the Pacific as they try to lock up the top spot.
Golden Knights will send Aiden Hill between the pipes, 8-1-1 in his last 10. Donato on a breakaway. Donato in the clear, save Hal, rebound, score! Bedard with the lead pass to Donato. He's able to spring towards the net. McCabe and Hill with a well-timed dive. Barbashev cross to Stone. Put it on net and he scores! Mark Stone goes 5-all on night.
And Stone's 19th ties this 1-1.
Second effort, got it up ahead just inside the blue line where Olofsson clears. Olofsson back up ice with Karlsson. Karlsson has the step off to Olofsson and he scores!
And what a backhand pass as Karlsson sets up Olofsson and he makes no mistake. And just like that, Vegas has the 2-1 lead.
Bedard drops it off. Kaiser, down low Valeno, back to Donato, scores! He has both goals. Into the Vegas zone, drops it off, down low, Donato scores! Ryan Donato with 2 quick goals, has the hat trick. Blocker save Hill, and good work by Karlsson to tie up McCabe. He'll bank it up ahead. Smith has Olofsson coming. Olofsson in, and he scores! What a shot by Victor Olofsson! His second of the game to tie it at 3.
Great heads-up play. Karlsson will bag to Smith. He gets it over. There's the release. His second of the game, up to 13 on the season.
Teravainen up by trying to feed it to Nazar, and a backhander denied by Hill. Stone in deep. Karlsson, Hanifin around the hole. Dorofeev scores on the one-timer on the power play. Pavel Dorofeev gives Vegas the lead 4-3. 1 minute to go in the third period. Pass into the middle, picked off by Stone. Stone able to feed it out. Howden racing after it for the empty net, and he scores! Brett Howden to wrap up the win in Chicago with the empty netter. His 21st of the season to make it 5-3.
Time for our last break here on Nightlife. Coming up next, who has been the bigger surprise this year? Tomas Hertl or Pavel Dorofeev? The guys discuss on VGK Roulette. Next, right here on Nightlife.
Welcome back to Nightlife, where there are plenty of topics to discuss in the Golden Knights world as we are so close to playoff hockey. And what better way to do that than to spin the wheel of roulette?
No, not yet. There we go.
But he's muted.
He's trying to talk. This is great. Yeah. Is he on the moon?
He's muted.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Let's rock. VGK Roulette, the final episode of the regular season, with the playoffs coming in a couple of weeks. What first round matchup best suits the VGK? Let's start with Gary.
I think that if you're the VGK, you don't want to worry about that. You want to play whoever comes in front of you. That being said, St. Louis would be a really good matchup for Vegas. They've got 3 former Blues in their lineup that I think would up the ante in terms of rivalry. Alex Pietrangelo, Ivan Barbashev, and Brandon Saad. They don't want to lose to the St. Louis Blues.
David.
I would think right now Mallard, Minnesota, but there's a caveat to that. Let's see who's going to get healthy again for Minnesota. The last time we were there, they had a lot of, Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek and Foligno were sitting in the booth next to Shane and I. So that being said, the Golden Knights handled Minnesota in the regular season. I do agree with Gary in this aspect. I always think it's dicey to kind of wish which opponent you're going to get. That being said, the Golden Knights have done a lot of good things against Minnesota this year.
Shaner.
In my opinion, I think Nashville has a chance to get in, and that's where I'd like them to go for the first round.
You've obviously had a couple of pops.
Just for
we can end the show now. He's won. He just won.
Gary and Dave are right. You don't want to. It's always a dangerous thing when you start wishing an opponent. Just ask the Toronto Maple Leafs asking for Florida. That said, Minnesota, I think I prefer, yes, Kaprizov, Eriksson Ek, those guys are coming back. But as we've seen, it is tough to come back in playoffs from a long absence of playing and being at top of your game for those top players.
Is Nashville close to?
No.
Close
to the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought
I'm just dreaming, Dave.
Tomas Hertl and Pavel Dorofeev both hit the 30-goal mark with hat tricks. Whose season are you more surprised with? Let's start with David.
I would say Dorofeev. He had 16 last year. I can't sit here and honestly tell you I thought he was going to double that output. We've seen Hertl reach 30 goals before, but good on Dorofeev. I thought he would have a jump, but not this big of a jump.
Shane.
I agree. I think Hertl's been there. He's done it before. He's been in the 30-goal mark. And Pavel Dorofeev, watching him play, he's becoming a dominant offensive guy. And how strong he is on the puck, I did not see that coming. Defensive play, he makes a defensive play that leads to a goal. He's just his all-around game on top of those goals. I think he's on the cusp of turning into an elite forward.
Lawman.
Yeah, I'll go with Hertl only from the sense that what we saw last year, and he was coming back from injury, was a shadow of what we're seeing now. Like, fans were asking me in the grocery store, was this a bad trade? Was Hertl a bust? And I'm like, well, give him a chance to get rolling. And when about a year after his surgery, he just became dominant. And he has arguably Vegas's best offensive player. He's revitalized their power play, making it the best in the National Hockey League. And I think a lot of Dorofeev's success is as a result of playing with Tomas Hertl.
Mel, I just wanted to get back to the grocery store thing.
Yeah.
So you're not able to go through and shop for your groceries in peace, Gary? Is that?
Oh yeah,
okay.
I'm a man of the people, Dave. Unlike
Okay.
you, yeah.
Nobody
ran
approaches
into
me.
each other at the grocery store a couple of weeks ago.
That's
you
right.
scare people, Shane. That's why. I'm friendly. I'm cuddly.
Alexander Ovechkin's closing in on breaking the all-time goal-scoring record. Is he the best pure goal scorer of all time? Shane.
It's hard to go decade by decade. The game has changed so much. The eras have changed so much. There's an argument with Mike Bossy, but you didn't see some players long enough that were pure goal scorers. And Dave's favorite player, Guy Lafleur in the day.
Oh God.
But yes, he gets that title certainly once he breaks that record.
That was a great troll. Dave.
Well, Shane, the two guys I thought of dating myself were Mike Bossy and Guy Lafleur, where every time they came down the wing, you felt like they were going to score. And usually they did. The other guy thought it was Brett Hull.
Yes.
Could score from any area on the ice and didn't need much time to do it. But Ovechkin's going to break this record, whether it's in the next couple of weeks or next season. And it's hard to say he's now the greatest goal scorer of all time.
Gary?
Alex Ovechkin is the greatest goal scorer of all time. Pure goal scorer. He is. He's the best. The other players that we've mentioned, the goalies were awful. It was a completely different game in terms of conditioning and the quality of players throughout a lineup. Ovechkin's playing in an era where it's really hard to score, and he scores all the time.
Organizational question, more like with the approach to life. If you have a commitment at, let's say, 9:45, what time should you show up? David?
9:48.
So you were still late for this.
Still late.
Yep. 9:48, maybe 9:49.
Winners and losers. It's Shane Knighty takes the W based on his Nashville answer, but the apology must come from Dave.
Thank you.
Please
Thank
say
you
sorry.
very much.
No. You have to say
sorry for losing?
No, for showing up late.
For being technically inept.
That as well.
Yeah.
Inept. You could have just used inept.
Thanks, boys.
Finish.
Well, that does it for this episode of Nightlife. Be sure to tune in next week for an exclusive sit-down with head coach Bruce Cassidy as we get closer and closer to playoff hockey. We'll see you next time, right here on Script Sports.